So once again, I welcome you all. So I've heard from you guys, and the reason why I asked everybody to say something was because it is good that I know what you understand and what you learn, so that I can, when I'm talking, I'll be sure that I'm not talking to myself and people are understanding everything that I'm explaining here. So last week we started talking about the creator economy, and I just gave you an overview. I'm going to give you a recap. So the recap from last week and what I explained to you from last week was that when we started discussing the creator economy, I discussed and I started by broadening your mind to see content from a larger perspective, right? Because it matters the perspective at which you look at something from. You can look at something from this side and look and feel like, oh, this is just a small thing, but it might shock you that when you look at it from another angle, you might see that that part you're seeing is just one side of that thing, right? So for you to be able to engage in something, it is good that you have a broad perspective of what that thing is and what it is about. So I explained content, and I said that content creation is not limited to someone just posting online. And I explained that content creation, that content starts with value, right? That content starts with having value to offer. And then when you have that value, when you package that value, right? You package it in a form. That is what content is, right? So for you to package value, that means that for you to package something, right, it means that there is something inside, right? So a video in itself, a video in itself is not a content. It is what is inside the video that is a content. A book in itself, a book, let me look for, okay, let's say a book like this, for example. A book like this is not content, right? It is what is inside this book. It is the content of this book, right? You see, I even said the content of this. That means it is what is inside a thing that makes it a content, right? If you go and buy, let's say you go to a store and you go and buy, let's say a biscuit, for example, that biscuit usually comes wrapped in a nylon, right? It is not the nylon that is the biscuit. The nylon is just the container. It is what is inside that nylon that is the main content, right? So this is good to understand because some people feel, oh, video is a content. You can have a video, but that video is just a video. If there is nothing inside that is valuable, you cannot call it a a content. So I also explained also from last week that the creator economy did not start with the introduction of social media. I explained that there are people have always created content right from the beginning of time, right? They've always been movie producers, right? There were people producing movies, right? The movies that we used to watch then, that was content that they were giving to us packaged. That then there was no social media. Musicians used to package their content and give it to us in music, the music you used to listen to. Even when you buy a book and you buy a book and you read a book, that is content. The author packages his intellectual property in a book and then sells it to you and you buy it. That is content, right? Even an entrepreneur packages content for you. So social media, it is not the coming of content creation did not come with the era of social media. There has always been content creation from the beginning of time. What social media did, listen very clearly, what social media did was to remove the middlemen, right? So social media removed the middlemen and then made distribution to become cheaper. For example, before, if you want to reach out to a large audience, let's say you want to do advertisements, maybe for a program, and you want to reach out to a large audience, usually what you would do is to go to a distribution company, for example, your television station, or you go to a radio station, or you go to maybe you go and advertise it on a newspaper. Those were distribution channels to help you, right? To help you reach out to a large audience, right? Because the audience is not in your house, so you need to reach out to them. So this way, the channels that you could reach out to them. But what social media did was that social media made distribution cheaper. That means that with your mobile phone in your hand now, with just your mobile phone in your hand, you can literally reach the world at the world is like at your fingertips. So you can pick up your phone and make a post, and that post that post can reach thousands and millions of people. So what the social media do? Social media just made distribution cheaper. So then social media is like a distribution channel. Social media is where you go to distribute your content, to distribute your value, and gain access to a large number of people, right? So so everybody really is a content creator. I'm still talking about last week. So I explained that everybody is a content creator. I don't know if I said this part, but I wrote it down today and I wanted to just say that really everybody, if you look at life let's look at life like that, everybody is a content creator because everybody is offering some sort of value in a package form, even down to a pastor. Do you know that even a pastor is a content creator? Now, that's why I said content creation, you have to think bigger. You have to remove your mind from social media, right? Because a pastor sits down, studies and then packages a message in a form that you can digest and then comes to church on Sunday and then teaches it to you. What did he do? He created content and he gave it to you. He gave you content. Content just means value, right? So he comes to church and gives you value. How about a teacher? It's the same thing. A teacher comes, prepares a note, prepares lessons, and comes and impacts that lesson into pupils or students. She just gave them content. She imputed value. She transferred value to them. How about a chef? A chef is still a content because it is value. Package the food and then give it to you. Um it is still value, so it's content. Now, so today, moving on today, since I explained the major last week I explained the major concept and broke down a lot of things. So what I'm going to be doing this week is that I explained to you the system of how to move from ideation to monetization on social media. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you how to I'm going to be breaking down the principles of how each of these steps work and how you can apply AI to make it. You know that AI is always a layer of productivity. That is always a layer that when you add it to what you are doing, it becomes better, right? So I'm going to be showing you how to apply AI, to each and every of these steps that I listed out. And then we'll see how far we'll go today before our time um, exhausts. So for today, I want you to think like a business. Like I don't want you to think like a student this time. For today, for this particular class, I want you to think like a business owner. Think like somebody who runs a global business. Like that's the mindset that I want you to have for tonight. So put on that cap. I want you to put on the cap of a business owner, right? So look at yourself like a business owner and think like a business owner, somebody who has a business and wants to reach out to people, right? That is the perspective that I'm going to be going through tonight. And so that's why I'm telling you that you should put on the cap of a business owner and think from the lenses of a business owner. So one thing that I really always do is that as your teacher and your coach, one thing that I always do is that one of my responsibility to you is to help you to reorganize ideas and help and simplify them, right? To make you more effective. That is one of my jobs to you. So most time when I come to teach, I don't just move and start teaching. I want to be sure that the concept that I'm giving to you, that they are clear, they are practical, right? And they are applicable, because it is one thing to come out and teach. If you cannot apply that to get result, that knowledge is as good as useless, right? And my goal in this class is not to waste your time. So let's get to class. I hope that you are with your notes, and I want you to be very, very attentive and listen to all that I have to say. And use your imagination, right? You have to use your imagination to paint pictures around what I'm trying to say. I'll also help you to paint pictures around the things that I'm saying so that they'll be clear, so that you will understand it better. It's always better. It's always easier to understand something when you can picture it. So this is how I want you to look at social media. Remember, I said number one, I want you to think like a business owner, like an entrepreneur. Now let's assume that now you are now thinking like an entrepreneur. Now, I want you to look at social media as a marketplace. Look at it as a market. Now, let's not go too far. Just picture the market in your local area. Just picture it. Just look at social media as if it is a market. Don't look at it like an app. For now, just look at it like it's a market. Now, for a place to be called a market, there are a few things that must be present before you can say this place is a market. There are certain things that must be present. And what are those things? Number one, it must have a designated location. Number one, that place must for a place to be called a market, it must have a designated location. Number two, it must have an audience. That means there must be an audience, a variety of people always coming to that place. Now, this audience is further grouped or further classified into three sets of people coming. Number one are the buyers, number two are the sellers, and number three are just the random people. People that are neither there to buy or sell. Maybe they are just um, window shopping or just going around their business. So remember, I said for a place to be called a market, number one, that place must have a designated location. A place that you know when you call a market, you can say, oh, so market, this market, Ekrejobo market, Warri market, Onisha market, right? So it must have a designated location, number one. And then number two, there must be an audience that comes to that place every day. Now, this audience are now subdivided into buyers and or sellers, and then random people that just come around. Now, with this frame of understanding, now let's go back to social media. Now, when you look at from these lenses, now I want you to look at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, just look at them like a marketplace, right? Because these are different locations. When you go to TikTok, it's like you are going to a particular location. When you go to Instagram, it's like going to a particular location or a particular market now, right? When you go to Facebook, it's as if you are going to a particular location. Now, in these different apps, there are they have a large audience. Remember that the first one is must have a location. Number two is now the location may not be physical. This time around, the location is digital, but it is still a location. Number two, a market must have an audience. Now, Facebook has millions of people that are on that space, has millions of people. Same with WhatsApp. Same with Instagram. Same with TikTok. I'm using the three most popular social media applications for now, right? So these three, they have millions and millions of people, right? These millions of people, there are businesses. That means let's just say there are buyers and there because businesses are coming to sell to you. Then there are people that are going to buy from them, and then there are random people who are just doing that thing on social media. Now, I'm very, very sure that now, okay, now we've established that social media has millions of people, right? Just like they have an audience, right? Just like the market in your area has an audience of people that are always coming to it. Now, if you were a market, let me ask you a question now. Now, this question is to Joy. Joy, if let's say you started a new business, maybe you went into selling of goods, or let's say you started selling some form of goods, right? And they gave you two options to sell at a market where there are just about 500 people coming there every day, and to sell at a market where there are millions of people coming to shop there. There are millions of people in that market. Which of the market will you choose to position your store? Joy, this question is for you.
Really millions of people
Okay,
because
okay,
my goods can reach out to so many people.
all right.
So
Who do I
because
who
for that 500,
continue? I can hear you. You said for that 500.
yeah, I said for that 500, in no time, it will get limited.
Okay,
And for that 1 million people, before 1 million people will patronize you, in fact, you say we don't make money. So it's just like that. You want to have audience, that larger audience that can buy from you.
all right. Don't mute your mic. I'm not done with you. Unmute your mic first. So let me now ask you a question. Is your business on social media?
Yes, it is, sir.
On which of the
I
platforms?
have I have my Instagram account. I have Instagram account. Instagram
Okay.
account. Instagram. I have TikTok. I also have Facebook because when I started my business, I started on Facebook before TikTok becomes something rampant. Then Instagram. So basically, I use those um, those platforms to market my goods.
Okay. So I guess your own, you are a different breed. Now, do you know that there are people that believe that when it comes to social media and putting their business on social media, they look at it as if it makes them unserious, or people will look at them in a certain way because they just have there is just a concept that they have about social media that prevents them from going online to set up their business. Now, what I would call this is I don't call I would call it ignorance. The reason why they are doing that is simply because of ignorance, right? So they will rather go and just get a shop. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against getting a store. Of course, you definitely need a physical store, right? So they will rather prefer only to get a store at, let's say in a street where there are just
So,
about 1,000 people. Let's say you have 1,000 people passing
so
that
I want
street
to talk
every day.
about something.
Let's say we have about 1,000 people who are passing that street every day. They would rather just get a store, right? And just sit down and hope, okay, somebody will walk in, anyhow, 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 right? And then they don't know that they're keeping their business limited by that approach. Whereas they could have taken their business online, and by knowledge of what I'm going to be teaching you, right, they can now position and set up that business to succeed, right? So ignorance is a very, very bad thing, because anytime you see somebody who feels like, social media, ma, go dance for social media, or should I go and do this on social media, they think that it makes them feel cool, right? But it doesn't make you feel cool. It makes you it shows how unwise you are, right? What is another name for unwise? When somebody is not wise, that means the person is what? Foolish. Remember, I used to say that foolishness is not an insult. Foolishness is just a description. Is a description of a state of lacking wisdom, practical wisdom, phronesis, right? So when you lack practical wisdom as to what you should do, that is what is defined as being foolish. So if somebody calls you foolish, it's not an insult, right? It is just a description, right? Just like you say, this thing is black, this thing is white. It's not an insult, right? So some people are so bothered about what people think that they would rather keep themselves small than tap into the the riches that are there online, and tap into a world that they can gain access to people just by positioning their goods in the right place. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know why market people, like people that sell in the market, they have goods? Why do they have to take their goods to the market? Why didn't they keep the goods in their house? Think the principle is the same, right? For whether it is social media, whether it is online or it is offline, the underlying principle is the same. You must be in a place where there is demand for what you have. So these people have, why didn't they keep the goods in their parlor and wait for somebody to come and buy? Let's say you sell fish, for example. Why don't you just keep the fish in your parlor? Because nobody will find you there. So they have to take it to where the market. Why are they taking it to the market? Because the market is like a host place, a place that hosts people, where people come. They don't necessarily know who will come that day, who will come and buy, but they know that by bringing these goods to the market, they are giving themselves more opportunity, right, to sell. Let me tell you something. There is no market person that wakes up in the morning and goes out to their store in the market and and has an arrangement with somebody that, oh, as I'm opening this store, by the time I come on Monday morning, make sure that all of you will come from different locations. There is nobody that is certain. They just go out there with faith, with belief. The word faith means belief, that because they have this product and this is something that people need, if they take it to where people will see it, then people will buy. That is why they carry their goods and go to the market. There is no guarantee whatsoever that people will come, but somehow people will come. Why? Because you have put, it's more like this is not, I will not call it luck, I will call it it is a form of engineered luck, strategic luck, a kind of luck where you position yourself in a place whereby you know that you cannot be disadvantaged. That is really the principle. And it is the same with social media, right? So for everything, do you know that I've seen people sell the dumbest, like, things that don't make sense, but yet thousands of people are buying. And I'm just asking myself, like, what is the value in this thing? That's to show you that there is a serious advantage in having access to a large population. When you have access to a large population, right, you don't limit yourself. So if an old mama wakes up in the morning and carries one or two of her goods, goes to the market without nobody calling her to tell her that don't worry, once you open, I'll come with my family, I'll call my, they just go there and then they set it up, they set up their store in a place that people will see. When people pass, right, they gain the attention of people. Once they gain the attention of people, the people come and then they transact, right? So it is just the same with social media. So when you come, you position yourself, you offer your value, you gain the attention of people. You see, remember in the material, I explained that when you package your value into a content, you have to gain the attention of people, because nobody will buy what you have to sell if they don't know that you are selling it. That is where attention comes in, right? That is why people cannot, those people don't keep their goods in their house. They have to bring it to the market because they are bringing it to where they will possibly get attention of people, so for them to be able to sell. But here's the problem, and I thought about this, that one of the major problems why people are always afraid of bringing their business online, I listed out a few things, right? Number one, I already mentioned that number one is ignorance. Ignorance because they feel like it makes them look in a certain way. Like if they bring their business online, it makes them, I don't know, maybe it makes people see them in a certain way, right? Another one could be the wrong mindset. Is also is a wrong that is a wrong There's a mindset they have about social media that makes them unable to want to bring their business online. They have a very, I will call it a limited scope, right, of social media and creating content. They feel like we know that there's how you are scrolling on social media, and then this new social media thing started. Maybe you are just scrolling and you see your friend, doing content. You just look at it like, this guy is like, they just look at you like maybe you failed in life, and the only thing that was remaining is for you to do content. Especially those people that were doing skits, right? It's not now that content creation people are now getting to tap into the creator economy and to understand what's happening, right? So number one is a wrong mindset. This I'm listing the things that make people to be afraid of wanting to take their business online. And one of the things that, and I've listed ignorance now, right, and the wrong mindset. But have you also thought about the fact that there are people that took their business online? Let's say they took their business online, but they were not able to break through, right? They stayed stuck. They couldn't break through. Why? Some people take their business online and then in no matter of time, they're already frustrated, they are tired, right? They almost want to quit. But what is the reason for this? It is still the same thing. Number one is you can still say a wrong mindset is there. What is the wrong mindset? The wrong mindset is number one. Some people feel like once you just um once you just post, you post and then you get one viral video. Once you get one viral video, that's the end. Do you know that you can get a viral video and you get that viral video and nobody buys from you? And I'm sure you already know the reason why, because I explained that last week. You can get a viral video, but nobody will buy from you. Okay, let me ask you a question. This question is for Omatule. Omatule, if you want, let's say you want to buy a bag, a Chanel bag online, and then you go to one social media profile and then you see one person, you see a business with one post that has 2 million views, let's say 10,000 comments and 100K likes, right? And they sell Chanel bags. It was an advertisement, but they have just one video on their page. Then you go to another page and this person has just
you on their page. Then you go to
5,000
another page and this person
videos
has just
sorry, this person has just
5,000
5,000 followers,
videos.
but
Sorry,
this person that has 5,000 followers has over 100 videos that the person is always uploading every single day. Who will you likely trust the more, Omatule? Who will you trust more? Will it be the person who has just one video with 2 million um, um, 2 million views, or the person who is posting consistently despite having only 5,000 followers? Who will you trust the more to buy from? Omatule, this question is for you.
Normally I would choose the one that has the more viewers than the one who has been posting consistently.
Really? You are going to choose one person that has one view, one video. Only there's only one video on that on the person's
really?
profile.
Because
You're going to choose one person that has one view and one video. Only there's only one video on that on the person's profile.
but there are a lot of, you said he had larger comments in the
Okay,
comment section, right?
but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, but it doesn't mean anything.
Let's say the purchase you want to make is like,
Okay,
let's say,
I
Let's say
have to
the
choose.
purchase you want to make is like,
what did you
let's say,
say?
Okay,
what did you say?
now I'm listening.
Okay, I said that let's even say that you want to make
Okay,
a
I said
purchase
that.
of
Let's even
around 5
say
million naira
that you want to
for
make a purchase
appliance,
of
and then
around
you
five
go to
million
you go and
naira
see a
for appliance,
business, and
and
this
then
business
you go
has
and see a business,
just one
and this
video
business
on their
has
page,
just
and then
one video on their
you see
page,
another page of
and then
like another business, and the
you see
business is
another
always
page of
posting
like another
consistently.
business,
They
and
are
the business
showing their
is always
face. You can see
posting
that their followers are
consistently.
real.
They
There
are
are real
showing
people
their face. You
commenting.
can see that
Who
their
would you
followers are
choose?
real. They are real people commenting. Who will you choose?
Okay, there are real people commenting, right? Okay, I'd rather choose the one with a lesser follower.
All right, mute your mic.
All right, mute your mic.
Mr. David, welcome, sir. I noticed you were not around last week, and I tried reaching out to you. I called your number several times this week. It wasn't going through. I think I messaged you. I hope you are fine, sir.
I'm doing very well, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay, sir.
It could be network there.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
no problem. Okay, so back to what we were saying. So I want you to remember the framework that I gave you last week. I explained that this whole thing, when you want to, okay, sorry, I think I was talking about what makes people not to break through on social media. Like when people take their business online, some people get frustrated after some time. And I was trying to list out some of the causes. And over here, I wrote 5 things down. Number one being a wrong mindset. That means they feel like, oh, I just want to post and then I get one viral video. But I can almost guarantee you that your first post will not be a viral video. And after people post for like 1 or 2 days and nobody's viewing it, they just quit, right? A wrong mindset about how social media works, how content creation works. Number two is wrong expectations, right? Maybe they expect that they will just post 1 or 2 videos and then people will start buying from them. People will start asking them, please, I want to buy this your product, oh, or can I enroll for your class, or this your service, I need it to. Nah, it doesn't work that way. Why? Because you cannot use 5 videos to make somebody to trust you. They have to continuously see you appear on their FYP, right? And even when they continuously appear on your FYP, there are still things that, okay, last 2 weeks I made a major purchase, and before I made that purchase, I bought some equipment from Lagos, and before I made that purchase, I had to screenshot. Like, I've been following these people, oh, but still I had to still screenshot it again, and then I sent it to someone. I say, please help me verify if this page is authentic, oh. And then the person looked at it and said, hey, now have you not been following? I say, yes. So I just want you to look at it, let it be another person's eye is seeing it, right? And then after then, before I now went ahead to pay for it. And after I even paid for it, the people were not picking my calls for like, I think a full day. They were not picking, and I was already please, oh, let it not be what I'm thinking. But it just turned out that it was a bad customer service, and I got what I paid for. So you see that trust these days is very, very hard to earn. So you cannot expect to post 1 or 2 videos and feel like people will trust you enough to give you their money, even if it's 1,000 naira, right? Because there's been so much scam on the internet. So So you don't just come. That's why you need to have the right mindset. You need to understand that it is not a 1 day thing, it's not a 1 week thing, right? But you can guarantee yourself that if you follow the principles and stay with it and think long term, right, you will always emerge a winner. Another one is lack of patience. It is all of this is just they are really, really related. Another one is lack of patience. Lack of patience, people don't want to wait, right, to endure to see. Do you know that most of the creators that you even see, most of the big businesses today, if you take a close look at them, you will see that they did not start from, like, they didn't even blow in their first year. Like, people didn't really gain their maybe some of them, but not necessarily all. Some of them, because some of them when they started with, like, they started at a point of no knowledge at all. I know that there is one thing: when you start with no knowledge at all, your distance will be longer than somebody who has a bit of knowledge. That's why you are in this class, because your own should not be that long. Now, for the past few months, I've been doing, I do research on content creators. Let's say, for example, I'll just pick up this creator. I'll be like, okay, I like this person's result, and I understand that every result that somebody has, there is an underlying system that backs it up. So what I usually do is I go back to their first videos. There's a creator that has over 6,000 videos. I had to go back to the very first video that they posted in 2013, and then I started working up, studying everything they were doing up to the end. I was like, man, these people have been in the game for so long. They did not just appear yesterday, right? But look at it today. Now they've understood the system so much that they know what to do, right? There's some content creators will tell you, like, I know what to do to trend. They are not blabbing, no. They literally know what to do to trend, because trending is about getting attention. They know what to say, because what now? They've understand how psychology works. They understand how human beings think. They know how to get your attention, right? They know how to get your attention. So when they make such statements, they are not just blabbing. It is years of experience that has been compressed together. They know what to do. Why do you think that if, for example, let's say a new product is coming to town, or a new phone, right? What those companies usually do is that they will do a kind of campaign where they call down people to come and dance. What are they just trying? They are just trying to get people's attention. All those gimmicks, sorry for calling it gimmicks, but all those things, the principle is just to gain attention, right? But if you don't understand this and you just open your social media, a business on social media, you just expect that your first post or your second post will get you the attention or you want, you are going to be frustrated, right? Then the fourth one is lack of understanding, and the fifth one is no strategy or no system, right? You need a system to stay consistent. You need a system to be, you don't just wake up and decide, oh, I want to post this thing. There is what you post to get attention. There is what you post after you've gotten attention. There is what you post to be able to convert your attention to trust, to a community, and then eventually to money, right? So there are different posts for different things. You don't just post, and it's just like you go to the sea and then you just throw your net in, hoping to catch it. No, you have to be strategic. You have to create system. That system that helps you stay consistent. I think it was in this class that I spoke about the fact that when I started, before, I used to, like, I didn't really want to show my face online. I just like looking. But the point I just knew that I needed to bring my value out, right? But and then I found out that process of creating content was too stressful for me. It like something I was now lacking in my other areas of productivity, because one principle that I have in my life is that anytime that I want to add something else to my life, let's say I want to start doing something else, I must ensure that what I want to add to my life does not affect the other things that I was already doing, right? So I found out that this content creation was taking so much of my time to shoot, right, to edit, and you make mistakes and all those things. So I now had to sit down and now created a system that helped me to stay consistent. And what was the system that I created? I created a system such that I can just decide to shoot all my videos for the month. I use a weekend, I shoot all the videos, I edit it, and then I schedule them. I just have them. So even if I travel out, even if, like, whatever happens, I don't care. I mean, I can be gisting with you and my content is going on. Why? Because I've created a system that helps me stay consistent without doing more of hard work, right? So you might see me posting every day and you might think that I'm making videos every day. I'm not making videos every day. Those videos have already been made, right? And then as you keep going, you will discover easier ways to make content. Sometimes I can just have an idea and then I just know how to go about it. I don't need to sit down. Like, I just made it easier for me, right? That's why you have to start. Then as you keep going, you make the process easier for you. So let's move on. So now what we are going to be doing now, we are going to be looking at if you study the material, I explain a process in the material, and I explain that content creation starts with value. Sorry, the whole creator economy ecosystem starts with having value, right? And when you package that value, it becomes content. Now, from content, you have to distribute your content. That is why you take it to social media, right? Because it is a distribution channel. Now, after distributing it, it doesn't stop there because you have to gain attention, right? So after you've gained attention, it doesn't still stop there. When you distribute it, you need to reach an audience, right? Good. So the fact that you reach an audience does not mean that you will sell. You have to gain the attention of the audience, right? So after you've gained the attention of the audience, it doesn't still end. It doesn't end there. You have to gain the trust of that audience. After you've gained the trust of that audience, that is when you now start building a community of people that share around your idea or your business. After you've built a community of people, that is when you now convert. Sometimes after you've built an audience that trusts you, you can still convert. But if you want to make it more solid, that is when you build a community of people that that see themselves around your brand. And if I bet you, if you really are attentive and you sit down to study every successful person online, be it a musician, right? You will see these principles, you know. Let me ask you a question. For now, I'm sorry that I'm going to be using this example. Let's say for people that you have Davido fans, for example, we have Wizkid fans. Who are really Wizkid fans? They are just their community, people who are loyal to them. Like they find the identity in them such that they will keep, like, no matter what these people do, no matter what they sing, whether the song is good or not good, or is bad or not bad, these people will always listen to it. Why? Because they've trusted these people so much, they've merged. They're like a family. That's what you call a community, right? And strong brands are built around community. So let's move on now. So what I want to do now is I want to explain each and every of these steps, and the principles that make each and every of these steps work. So I remember at the beginning of this class, I said for this class, I want you to think like a business owner. So let's say, for example, now, who are we going to be using as an example? Which person's business are we going to be using as an example? So let's say you want to start a business, and you want to start a business, you you want to start a business and you have value. Okay, let me not even say you want to start a business. Let me not put it like that. Let me say you want to start putting your value, right? Let me put it like that. You want to start putting your value out. Let's say, for example, that you are a Omatule, what skill do you have? I want to use someone's this thing. Omatule, what skill do you have that you feel like people want it? It may not be, it might be a skill, it might be a value, it might be
Might be a skill,
whatever
might be
it
a
is. What do you
value,
think
might
you
be
have? What do you think you have currently that
whatever
people
it
need?
is. What do you think you have? What do you think you have currently that people need?
Fashion designing,
Okay. Fashion design.
hairstyling, and
No, let's go with
Okay,
one. Let's go with
fashion
one.
design. No, let's go with one. Let's go with one.
fashion designing because that's what is kind of like trendy right now.
Okay. All right. So Omatule
Okay.
wants
All right.
to
So Omatule wants to.
please mute your mic.
Omatule wants to. Please mute your mic.
Yeah. So Omatole wants to take her fashion business online, right? I want us to remember, please, if you have your note with you, I just want you to go and open that this thing that I gave you, that diagram. So Omatole wants to take her business online. First of all, remember I told you that you have to start from the level of value, right? Because if you take a product to the market that people don't need, you are going to go back with that product. Imagine that you are going to a children market and you go there with adult shoes or adult clothes, you end up not selling. Not because those things are not valuable, but just because you are not well positioned for the market that you are going to offer, or they don't need what you have. Simple and short. So it starts from the level of value. So the first question that Omatile will ask herself, she wants to take her fashion business online, right? The first question that she will ask herself is, this fashion thing, like, what is my uniqueness? That is where you start from. You have to start because there are many fashion designers online, right? So why would somebody leave them and come and buy from you? You have to give them enough reason why they should choose you over others. So first of all, you have to be sure that you have value. That means you know how to do it. You must be sure that you know how to sew. Let's even say you have your own style of sewing. I think we should, if you use a case study of someone like Vicky James, she has her own signature dresses. There is a way a Vicky James dress looks that your May Casual's dress don't look like that, right? So you must have your own. You can decide to just niche yourself down, right? Don't be too generic. When you are too generic, people don't know what to come to you for. Have you ever seen all those stores in the neighborhood? Now I'm not talking down on them. I'm just saying it for example's sake. Let's say it's a chemist store, but when you go to the chemist store, one side is chemist, one side is provision. Then outside, in one side they are selling clothes, then the other side they are selling food. It is still one store, but they are doing everything. The father of nations are doing everything. You know that kind of store. Now that is too generic. You cannot be everything. So you have to be one thing so that when people think about you, they know what you come to you for. For example, if I want to start a fashion this thing online, for example, let's say I go into fashion and I want to start, I would just position myself like I sew clothes for kids, right? I may just decide to position myself like that I sew clothes for kids. So anytime a child needs a clothes, let's say a child needs a nice clothes, they will say, good luck, that's what he does, right? Because people can associate, they can how do I put it now? They can pinpoint you to something, right? So you have to first of all start with your own uniqueness and your own positioning in the market. That means the way you want to position. But while you are trying to set up yourself, you must be sure that this value that you want to give, that people really, really need it. This is now where research comes in. This is now where you do your research, and this is where AI comes in. So you now go to your AI and then you do a research and you ask, this is the way you do that kind of research. When you do that kind of research, you want to find out like the okay, on social media, for example, right, in the social media market, people who are into this people who are into selling of clothes, how much do they make? Like what was the gross revenue of people that sold clothes, let's say for the last 5 years? Numbers don't lie, right? If you see that the numbers were really much, then you can tell that there is demand for this thing. And so it is easy for you to now put, you now know that okay, at least you're in the right market. Then you can now break it down and start doing, okay, so how do I position myself? I will now help you say, okay, maybe give you options, position yourself like this, or position yourself like this, position yourself like this. And then you can still decide to say, okay, I want to study creators who have done this before, right? So there is a researching part. This is how you build up your value before you even start packaging that value. There is a researching part that, okay, this is how I want to position myself. Okay, I know that there is value for me in this market. Okay, this is what I will do, this is what I will do, this is what I will do. Now, now you don't need to be 100% certain, right? Because sometimes what you think will do well may not necessarily do the way you think. But it may be that as you are posting, maybe one day it might just mistakenly make one other post, and you feel that people are interested in this more than this. You can have two products, and you may think that people will be interested in this particular one, and then all of a sudden you post it, and the one that you least expected is the one that people wanted the most, right? And then when you see that that is what they want, then you have to reorganize your strategy, right? So don't be too rigid, right? But at least have a sense of direction. That's what I'm just trying to say. So when now you've concluded on your value that okay, this is how I want to position myself and this is what I want to do. Now you've done your research, you've used AI to do your research, you know how you want to place your demand in the market. The next thing is to see how you intend to grab attention. Now, the first thing that you want to do is to grab attention. That is the first thing. See, when you come into social media, I wish I could imprint this in your head. We have just 8 minutes until the class ends. When you come on social media, right? The first thing for you to do, the very, very first thing for you to do is to grab attention. Imagine you go to a market. Let's go back to the market description. Let's say you go to a market to go and sell your goods. You want to position your store in a place that people will see what you have to offer, right? That's if you are going there to go and sell. You don't go to a market and then you go to the back edge of the market where people are not even coming to that side, then you go and keep your goods. People may not see that. If people don't see, they won't buy. So when you start your content creation journey, the first thing that you want to do is to gain the attention of people. It's just like gain the attention of people, let people turn and see that, okay, this is you. I want you to always picture this now. Imagine that you want to make an announcement or you want to say something in a crowd of people that are talking. Let's say a crowd of 1,000 people. Everybody is making noise. Everybody is making noise 247, right? If for you to be able to pass a message across to that people, you first of all have to gain their attention. So whether you will shout and say, "Hey, everybody, stop making noise. Turn your attention to me," and then when the attention is down on you, you can now speak, right? So the first thing that you want to do is is to turn the attention to you, and there are different ways you can do this. This is when now this is when you now start packaging your content. So the way the now when you think of, okay, how can I gain attention? The way you want to gain attention will determine the way you package that video, right? There are a lot of ways that you can use to package a video, and there are different types of videos, whether it's a talking head video, is an explainer video, is an ad video, whatever it is. Your first goal is to find a way to gain the attention of people, right? And I'll briefly show you how to structure a video. Now, basic psychology. I hope you are writing all these things down because you are not going to remember them just by feeling that you are listening to me. Now, there is a principle in psychology, right, that states that there is something called the purple cow theory. I'm just bringing this, it's not in my notes, but it just came into my mind to talk about it. There is something called the purple cow theory. And that purple cow theory states that when, okay, imagine that you are going on the road and you pass some set of cows. You've been seeing cow every day, you may not really notice. But imagine you are passing on the road and you see pink cows. Immediately that thing will grab your attention. Why? Because that thing is not a normal phenomenon. It's not normal for you to see a pink cow or a purple cow, right? So that means that there's something called a hook. Now, I was trying to explain video structures now using this purple cow theory. There's something called a hook. And now, what is a hook? When you are starting a video, whether it is a talking head video, whether it is an explainer video, whether it is an ad video, you want to start that video in a way that the first thing that you do between the first to the fifth second, you want to be able to get the attention of people, right? So there are different ways that people get attention of people. Sometimes most of the ways, sometimes they show you something that you did not expect to see. But there is no one formula, right? But there are different ways. There are different ways that you can use to get attention. But this purple cow theory is one of the one that works the most, because if you show a human being something that they've not seen before, right, it is possible that you are going to gain the attention. Imagine you want to start a video. Let me ask you, let's say you are scrolling on your TikTok or your Facebook, you are scrolling through the videos, and then you get to a video of a human being dressed as a chicken. First of all, you will stop and maybe I want to find out, what is this about? Do you know what that thing was? That was just a hook to get your attention. Now, once they get your attention, they will now pass their message. You may not even know that they passed their message, right? So it is important to get hooks. Now, this aspect of getting hooked is not as easy as it sounds, right? Have you seen videos that are so boring? When you scroll to the video, you just start watching. When the person starts talking, you just scroll and pass. You don't even want to hear. Why? Because there was nothing to hook you. That is why before you package your content, the first thing to do is to plan it, right? So if it is a talking head video, you want to write out your script. You want to write out your script, and then, oh, we have just 3 minutes remaining. What do we do? Do we extend it or we end it here and take it to and carry it over to next week? What do we do? Omatule, what do we do?
I think we should extend it, but everybody have to say something concerning it.
Mr. David, what do you think?
David, what do you think?
I think
Maybe
let's go.
30 minutes.
Okay, let's go.
Let's extend the time.
I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you.
Go by extending the time so
Go
that we
by
can
extending the time so that we can
cover
cover.
We have just 3 minutes. I cannot hear you. I don't know.
You can hear
Your
me.
voice is
We
echoing.
have 3 minutes. I cannot hear you. I don't know
I,
what is
I
it.
said we should go ahead by extending the
Go
time.
ahead by extending the time.
Okay. Miss Joy, what do you think?
Okay, Miss Joy, what do you think?
You can extend the time,
You
sir.
can extend the time, sir.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this
All
call
right.
and
So
then
what
I'll
I'm going
send
to do
a
is
new
I'm
link.
going to
We'll
end
just we'll
this
just spend
call
20
and then
minutes.
I'll send a
We'll just
new
spend
link.
just 20 minutes. That's what we'll spend. So I'll end this call. I'll put the new link on the group and then you use that to join back. All right. So back to what we were saying. So if you are walking and then you are passing a road and then you see purple cows passing, right? There is a very, very high tendency that she's here. All right. So like I said, if you are walking and then you see purple cows along the way, there is a very, very high tendency that you are going to stop, right? Is that so? You are going to stop to want to say, I've never seen a purple cow before. I've never seen a pink cow before, right? I've always seen black, brown, maybe white, but not this. I've never seen this before, right? So when it comes to creating videos, you have to create your videos in a way that if people judge your videos from the first minute. That's why movies, have you seen movies? What they usually do in movies, when you watch a movie, the same principle applies. Movies start with a part, the way they start the movie, they start it in a way that gets your interest to want to watch it because this is how you start a movie like, I beg, this one no go sweet, you will leave it, right? So this principle is a very, very key principle, right? Because if you are not able to get people's attention and to hook them to what you have to say, they'll probably never listen to you. So you can have a valuable content, right? You can have something that is very, very valuable that people need, right? But if you don't understand how to structure that content, first of all, starting with a hook that gets people that gets people attention, and then to the body of the message before the outro, people might never get to listen to that video, right? So when you want to when you want to start doing your content, the first thing to do is to first of all think of the content idea, right? So you must think, okay, now since we are using social media, then we are going to be really, really talking about videos. Now, video is not the only way to package your content and distribute, right? Just that on the popular social media today, what they do is video. On Twitter, they just type, right? And then there are platforms where people go to read, where people, so all those content are there, but we are just focusing on videos for now. We are focusing on videos. So when you want to, before you even shoot a content, the first thing you want to do is to sit down and to plan your content. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself is, this content that I want to post, what do I want to achieve with it? So you want to, if you say, for example, I want to gain people's attention. Let's say, for example, Omatole now, she wants to gain people's attention, or she needs to gain people's attention for people to know that she is selling, or she is a, a fashion designer. So as a fashion designer, what kind of content? That's where you now start asking yourself that, okay, what kind of content will I put out that will gain people's attention, right? So you now have to sit down and plan the content. If, for example, it is a talking head video, you want to write out your script if you want to talk, right? If you want to maybe showcase the clothes, you also have to plan out, how do I showcase this clothes in such a way that gains people attention. This is where things like cinematography comes in, right? Because there is a way you can showcase a cloth that is nice, but the way that you do it, people don't buy. Do you know that? Have you ever seen a situation? Okay, have you ever heard this scenario of what I ordered versus what I got? What I ordered is just a content that was well packaged in a way that it made you feel good about it. But when you got it, it didn't come out the way you expected, right? Why? Because they were able to sell to you. They sold you something just by being able to tell a story with their camera in such a way that you felt so good, then you were led to buy. But when you bought it, it's not what you thought it was, right? So you want to plan out your content. Now, this is where AI comes in. Remember, we've spoken about the first layer of AI where you use it to do a research and to find out how you want to position yourself. And then when you come to this layer now, let's say you have a content and you don't know the right hook that will work for that kind of content. So you can now go to AI, right? You can see that AI is a layer. So instead of now, I'm not saying you have to depend on AI because there are some times that you have to crack your head. That's why you have a mind. You have to crack your head and think of something, right? So you now go to AI and then you can paste in your content script and then you ask AI to come up with hooks, not just random hooks, but a hook based on psychology, right? You tell AI that, act like a content strategist, right? A human mind only stops as to something, just give it a prompt and then you tell it to come up with hooks for you. Then the AI will now suggest different types of hook that you can use for that video. Now your work is now to find the best one that you feel like will work. Then you put it, right? Sometimes you can put it, it may not work the way you want. There's something called repurposing. That means you twist it, right? There were contents that I posted, it didn't perform well, but I twisted it. I just cut something here, replaced this one, took this one forward, brought it back, and then it did better than the previous one, right? So you can now use AI to be able to find your hook and find the best hook for a video. Do you know that there is a way that even for a talking head video, there is a way that you start a speech and somebody wants to listen to what you want to say. Imagine you come across a video, somebody say, "Hello, my name is Omatule, and I am a fashion designer, and I am this, I am that." You might just scroll and pass. But there's a way Omatule can come outside and says, maybe she just starts with a statement like, no fashion designer in Nigeria can be. There is a statement you start with that triggers something in people, right? I'm not saying manipulate people, but I'm saying there is a way you start a video, and that video triggers something in people. There is a content creator that does this very much. His name is Okoyemi. I also studied him. I really, really studied him to understand his kind of his strategy. And what he usually does is he contradicts. He says things that people think of, but they don't say, right? So he will say something that is very, very bold that makes you think he's proud. But the goal is that at the end of the day, he's getting your attention and those attention are converting, right? So the strategy is always to start your video with a hook. Remember, don't ever forget this. And wherever you don't have a hook, right, then you use AI to find one. Even if you want to do storytelling, right? Even if you want to do video, normal video, like maybe you want to create videos with your like AI videos, you also have to start with a hook. There is a way you will start it, and people don't even want to watch what you have to offer because of what the way you started it is not. They don't feel it doesn't feel appealing enough, right? So a hook is very, very important. So if you are going to now structure a content, we'll say that a video content, the first part is the hook. The first part is what you call the hook, and then you have the body. The middle part is the body, and then the third part is what you call a CTA. A CTA means a call to action. So depending on what you want to get from the video, if you want, maybe you just want a video for people to gain your attention, you can just say, oh, if you like this video, maybe like and follow for more. Now, you might think that it is not important for you to say like and follow. People will forget. Sometimes you need to tell them what to do. That's how easy it is for people to forget. Or maybe if you wanted to sell something, you can, or maybe you want to gain an audience, you can say, oh, if you like this, comment the word prompt and I'll send you. If you want comment, you can tell them what to comment for you to maybe give them a particular info. So all these things are very, very, very necessary. So we've used 13 minutes so far. All right. So um still on video creating videos now. Now there are different types of videos like I listed. Who can help us list the types of videos, type of video contents that we have? Or Matule, can you try? And Joy, you're already creating content. You should know. What? Okay, let's even use Joy. Joy is also a fashion designer. Joy, what kind of content do you create on social media?
The kind of content I create is I make put together all my work, like the process of my work, the procedure, and the aftermath of it. And majorly, that's what I create. And
Okay.
also, I put in styles, different design you can recreate, and all of that. So basically, that's what I do, sir.
Okay. Now, do you know that? Now, this is just a added bonus. Do you know that one of the things that drives buying is emotion, right? And there are certain emotions that if you can trigger that emotion, now this is something that I'll be talking about later, but I just want to give you a heads up. Now, people buy based on emotion. Have you ever seen a Milo ad? For example, Milo is a beverage, Milo, that you drink. But when you see a Milo ad, you don't see a Milo coming out. Maybe say, let's say for example, you sell Milo, for example, Milo, a Milo company will never come out and say, let's say for example that this is Milo. The company will now come out and say, come and buy Milo. Milo is good. Milo is sweet. You will never see something like that if you are seeing a Milo ad. That means if a Milo wants to sell to you, do you know what a Milo company would rather do? You will see an advertisement like a boy waking up in the morning, then the boy drinks Milo, and the boy goes to school, and then the boy plays a football match and wins. And do you know why the boy won? They will now say Milo, they will now put the outro Milo, this. And then they make you feel, they keep showing that thing to you, and then they engineer your mind to think that, and the little children will think that if they drink Milo, they are going to win. So they associate their product with winning. So when people now start buying that product because they feel like, oh, they are going to win. Okay, look at, for example, an energy drink. Energy drink companies don't come out and say, come and buy this energy drink, or this is for example, maybe Bullet energy drink, or maybe what do you call the other one now? Fearless or Predator, one of any of those ones, right? I'm not advertising for any brand, but I'm just giving you an example. Just come out and say, hey, come and buy our energy drink. Our energy drink is sweet, or it's nice, it's better than others. No, you will not see something like that. You might see something like somebody wants to go for a race or a competition and just drinks a little bit of shot, and then the person just outtakes and runs off, and then wins the major race or whatever it is. And then they keep showing that thing to you, and somehow they are making you feel, they are bringing out a feeling in you. Now maybe in the next class I'm going to be giving you the major emotions, that if you can trigger those emotions. Now I'm teaching you psychology, right? If you can trigger those emotions in people, you are bound to gain their attention and you're bound to sell, right? So imagine if you now you want to sell your own goods, and you come out and say, hello, I'm a tailor, buy from me, come and buy my clothes, I can sew very nice. They'll just look at you and be like, this one is not yet serious, right? But there is a way that you can position your clothes, right? Okay, think of fashion designers like people like, if you know Yomi Casual, or Vicky James. Vicky James associates her brand with elegance, right? Excellence. So you patronizing her alone gives you a feeling, because of how there's something because of how she has positioned her brand, right? That's called brand positioning, and she has shaped the perspective of brand, so that anytime you think about Vicky James clothes, you are thinking of excellence, you're thinking of elegance, right? So people, in fact, people, do you know that people even buy clothes because they want to feel good? Like, when they believe that if they buy a Vicky James clothes, they will just, maybe they will feel good about themselves in some way. All those things are just psychological engineering, right? They are just psychological engineering, and you can do same. It is not gimmicks, it's not manipulation, it is just basic sales psychology. People don't buy things because the thing is nice. They buy things because it appeals to their emotion in one way or the other. So I said I was going to be using 20 minutes. So what is going to happen now? I want everybody to open a social media account, right? Open a social media account and post your handle on the group. Let's all follow each other, right? I want to ensure that everything that we are teaching, that we are applying it, because sometimes when I'm talking like this, it is more easier for you to understand it when you are doing it, and it will be even better for you if you start doing it now while you are still in session in phronesis, because why? You can gain my attention, I can guide you, I can see what you are doing, right? When you post, you can post now and make a mistake and learn fast, than to go and do it later and be working alone. Now that we are a community, you can do it now. At least you have to, if let's say you make a post now, at least you are sure that you have a few people in the community that will like your post, so you are good to go, that will view that post, right? And then if you make a mistake, we'll be there to correct each other, we'll be there to grow, we'll know what you are building. Everybody should start building. We are not just teaching theory here. We are not teaching theory here, right? Everyone should. You don't have to have a product to sell or a goods to sell. It might be something. Maybe you know how to tell stories, right? Or maybe you like to sing, or anything that it is that you feel like it's a valuable thing that you can offer to people. I want you to really, really think about it, right? And you don't have to don't be 100% certain. 40% certainness is better. Do you know that somebody that starts walking, another person that waits for strength to run, the person that is already walking, that started walking, would would outbeat the person that is waiting for strength to come, right? Because consistency will always beat skill at every point in time. Consistency beats skill. Let's be honest, right? So I want everybody, just think of something that you feel like. It might be maybe you are good at teaching, right? It might be that you are good at teaching. It might be that you are good. Like for me, there are a lot of things I can do. I can teach, I can talk, I can play piano, I can do a lot of things, right? But when it came to social media, I decided that I wanted to educate people on AI. And then my I used my video skills to further enforce that I know what I'm talking about, right? So when brands reach out to me, and I've had brands reach out to me that I didn't even have a business with, they just reach out to me because I was showing myself. I just put myself there. It's just like when you take your product to the market, right? If you don't position yourself where people can see you, they will never buy from you. And money will see this money thing does will never fall down from heaven, right? You have to engineer your own luck. You have to put yourself where the odds will favor you. And the earlier you start, the better for you, right? So you don't have, even if you don't have to necessarily have a service that you offer, like Omatule, maybe you're a fashion designer, right? You don't have to necessarily have a product to sell. Let's say maybe you sell electronics and the rest, even though that is part of it, right? It could be that maybe you know how to tell stories. It could be you know how to sing. It could be you know how to talk, or maybe you like comedy, entertainment, whatever it is that you feel like you have, that childhood dream that you've always had in you. It's time for you to bring it out and package it for the world to see what you have to offer. So I want everybody to go ahead to open the account. Decide when you open your account, decide on what you want to do. In fact, that's our assignment for this week, right? I'm going to be posting it. So what you just need to do is you are going to just decide on what you want to do. So what you are going to do is write the value, something that you feel like you have. You can just maybe list them out, the things that you feel like you have that people might need, right? List them out and then open a social media account. Attach the social media account as a link to, there will be a space for you to attach your social media account so that I can post it on the group for people to follow you. So we will all follow each other and then we will all grow and then we will all um learn. I hope that is clear. And please, 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 please don't feel like this is too, like you are bigger than it, right? You are not, nobody is bigger than it. This is the right time for you to do, because when are you going to be doing it next year when people have already done it? Imagine doing something that you could have done now that will be easier. You now want to do your own later on your own. It's always harder to figure things out alone than when you are figuring it out with people, right? So let's be that community that supports each other, that is there for each other. If there's something you don't understand, you ask your colleague, and then we'll all grow. So yeah, this is where we are going to stop today. I've already used past 20 minutes. So I'm going to take questions now. If there's any question, please ask. Any question? No question at all? No question?
So I have a question. I
Okay,
have a
ma.
question. So I want to ask this question because I'm really confused in this aspect. In a process that you've already figured out what you want to do, you get me? You've already figured out this is what you want to do, or maybe you like motivational, like motivation, be a motivational speaker, and at the same time you want to add it to your business. So how can you put the two together, like after talking about your emotional motivational speaker, being after talking about whatever you have for that day, and also you want to include your business, or will you have a different account for motivational speaker, then you still have another account for your business? Let me know.
Okay, so this doesn't really, you can still do it on your account, because you know one thing, there's something called a personal brand. Do you understand? Do you know what makes a personal brand? What makes up a personal brand is everything about you, not just your not just your products that you have to offer. For example, if you come to my page, for example, you might see AI videos. You might see videos of me talking about the economy, or maybe I speak about it. I don't really comment on issues, but I might talk about the economy. You see me talking about AI, which is the bulk of my content. But I also teach on systems, right? I explain system. I break down systems as well. I also explain, mindset. I talk about mindset, and I talk about, I break down all these things, right? So all these things joined together is what makes up my personal brand. So by going through my videos, you can really know the kind of person I am by listening to the kind of things that I speak about, right? Just make sure that what you are speaking on is not off, right? So you can just decide, maybe for example, you can decide to, instead of making the motivation totally different from, let's say for example, you, like you say, you have something that you are doing, for example, on the social media, and you want to talk about motivation. You can use that motivation to also strengthen your business. For example, you can talk about how it has helped in your business. For example, maybe you can maybe decide to share a story and be like, oh, so this morning when I woke up, I wasn't even feeling it. Like I didn't want to. I was so tired from yesterday, and I've not been making sales for the past 1 week, and I was just so tired. But I just decided to stand up and go and do something. And then I met a customer that changed my life. Today I had the biggest deal of my life. That's, don't lie, yo. But I don't support lying. If that is what happened, right? But that your motivation will not now be another thing standing on its own. You are now linking it to yourself as a CEO, right? Or as a business owner. So that your motivation is not another thing standing alone. You can now use it, you can connect it somehow to your business. Just find a balance to merging the two so that it does not become two different things, but it is one thing, right? It is you expressing yourself in different ways, but it is still you. Find a balance to connect the two ideas together so that they don't stand on their own. I don't know if that is clear, Faith. Is that clear?
Yes, it's great.
All right. Is there any other question? All right. So I want to say this. This is what I want to add. Now, as you people are thinking
See,
about,
true.
okay, someone else. All right, Joy, I'm listening.
It's not a question actually. I just wanted to chip in on what you said concerning the question Sister Faith asked
Okay.
when she asked about motivational speaker and the likes of our business. She can actually be a motivational speaker that talks about our business, and it can breed an advice, or she can actually give an advice or a motivational talk on that particular field in which our business is, so that to help other people that are coming up, or to guide other people on a straight way to have a successful business. Do you understand? That's just what I would say, sir.
All right, that's a very, very great one. So that's still the same principle of merging it together so that the ideas don't stand on their own. You can always marry ideas together so they become one thing, right? So for me, for example, I did not have to choose between being a video creator and then talking about AI and the rest, right? I use my videos to demonstrate my knowledge. So when I come to talk to you or talk about different topics, so when you come to my page, you can see that this guy knows what he's saying because I've demonstrated it. Now, here's what I want to say, right? Because I really want, it is my desire that phronesis students will all stand out, and people in the other class, some of them, they're already positioning themselves. I want everybody to position yourself. You know that this AI thing, we are still very, very new in the age of AI. So I want to add to this that don't when you're positioning yourself, position yourself as somebody in a particular field of, let's say in fashion design. You can decide to position yourself as that fashion designer who also talks about AI and how AI is it's helping them. Like, make yourself a sought out person in your field by having access to, or by providing value that people don't usually have access to or knowledge to. Like I said, in fashion, you can decide to position yourself as that fashion person who also talks about, who applies AI in fashion. People will be interested to know, how can I apply AI in fashion? And then you can start teaching them. So people don't only come to you to buy, they come to you because they know that this person has real and solid expertise, and that will make you a face and a voice, right? Don't just think of, I don't want you people to just to just become like everybody else, right? Be intentional about creating your own space, about becoming a voice. And you can do that because it is through social media that the next set of people um who would be a voice in the next generation. Most of them are going to be on people who are already putting out their business on social media, who are building in public, who people are seeing and people go to. Those are the people, right? So it is wise that you understand the times and seasons, like the people of Issachar in the Bible. This is the times that we are in. So look at yourself like a leader in this niche, in this whole AI thing. We are not just learning it to go and, but we are learning it to be able to lead other people in it. So the things that you learn from class, you can decide to share it. You can decide to talk about it. Let's say, for example, Mrs. Adekoya, the mini app that she built last week, right? As a teacher, she can decide to be that teacher that teaches other teachers how to, use AI, and people will come to you for that because there are so many do you know that, let's sorry that this is getting long, but do you know that most of the people online that are talking about AI, most of them, and this is not me trying to backlash anybody or trying to say I know much, no, I'm still learning, but most of the people talking about AI don't even know what they are talking about. Let's really be honest. A lot of you in this community, you have a broader understanding of AI than most of the creators we see, but they don't know you. Why do they not know you? Because you are not out there. They are seeing them, they are getting attention because they are the ones that have put themselves out. Somebody said that they attended an AI, they paid for an AI class. They paid, I think, how much, whether 100,000 for an AI class. And in the first day, the person taught them how to change color of cloth on ChatGPT. The second day, he taught them how to, I don't even know what he taught them. And then he thought that the class was over. So people now still think that AI is about creating one funny video online. That is all AI means to them. Or maybe they change somebody's color of shirt, or they change the background of the person, and then that is AI. Is so mad. That is AI at the lowest. That's just the one side of AI, right? So as you are building new furnaces, you have to go out there and put your value out. You have to go out and talk on different, and you know that the more you talk about things, the more you learn, right? So you can decide to be applying your AI to your niche, right? Mr. Adekoya, you can decide to be applying it to teaching and academics, right? And other teachers can come learn from you. Joy, you can decide to be talking on it on fashion, right? Depending on the area that you are in. Depending on the area that you are in, and just keep doing this and give yourself 1 year. People will begin to know you. People will begin to come to you, right? Because you are giving value that you are not even stressing yourself. So we are going to end here today. I don't know. I used to talk too much. Let me not bore you people with talk. So please, let's all open our social media account. Let us be intentional with this influence thing that we want to do, right? The first thing is that we have to put ourselves there. You have to put yourselves there. I want to scroll on my feed and see you people talking about AI. Or talking about something, or providing some form of value that people come to you to learn from you. So please open your IG account, most especially IG and maybe TikTok and Facebook. But for me, I'm mostly on IG, and I only use IG, right? I have a TikTok, but I don't really go there. But I use IG, and my IG is synced to my Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. So anything I post on IG automatically goes to Facebook, right? So you can decide. That is my own system to ensure that I don't post there and go and post there. So please, if it is IG, you can start with one. If it is IG, fine. If it is TikTok, fine. But just open one. You can easily reach out to people on TikTok, right? And women, for especially women, you people have more, because when they see a woman that is coming out to talk about AI, they look at you like this smart person, and people would be interested in what you have to say. Right? Women are always more favored than men in these things like this. So please open your. That's the assignment for the week, is to open. Even if you don't even know what you want to do, just open it first and send me the link. Let me pray over the link. Don't worry, wisdom will come and you will know what to do. So I think this will be ending for tonight, and tomorrow I will drop the link. That is the assignment for the week. So you open the account, you paste the link, because I want to have access to everybody's account so that I can see what everybody is doing. I can also post it on the group so we can all follow each other. So if there is no other question, I think this is where we'll call it a night. Thank you very much, and sorry for that we spent so much time. We'll pick it up from here next week. Good night, everybody.